13 years in Japan, which, I mean, is grounds for an interview in itself in terms of the work culture, etc., that you learn. But take us through the taking on the responsibility for Leaf.
Look, I wish I could tell you that when I started it was some grand mission to save the Earth. That's not how it started. Interestingly, back in, I think, 1996, I was working as head of engineering in Europe and working with my colleagues in Japan, and we created the Nissan Tino. And in Japan, they created a hybrid version, first hybrid really, of its generation, way ahead of the Prius. And as has been the case with Nissan over almost all its life, it was very inventive, but it didn't see things through commercially, and it wasn't a commercial success, and they killed it. Then you saw Toyota adopting much the same technology, created the Prius. The Prius became the biggest thing since sliced bread. Didn't make any money until its third generation, but they persisted at it, which you have to give Toyota great credit for. I was head of planning, amongst other things, chief planning officer, and my sales teams, particularly in Japan, were screaming for a hybrid. We need to copy Toyota, which is essentially what Honda did. I think it was the insight that they created. To me, that didn't make sense, which didn't necessarily make me very popular with my Japanese sales colleagues, but just me too didn't seem to be the way to go. And I was aware of some nascent technology in the advanced engineering division, which had been looking at lithium batteries. And so we decided, and I have to say, I have to credit Carlos Ghosn with backing it, because it was a ballsy strategy. But we said, okay, why don't we try and leapfrog this? Why don't we, if a hybrid is a sort of combination of a EV and an internal combustion, therefore one or other of them is wasted, why don't we just go pure? And that was the original motivation. Now, obviously, as you get to work on that for 4 or 5 years, and you become more and more dedicated to it, and as you find out more about how it can work, and you understand more about climate change, you can start to be an evangelist of the technology. But clearly, we were unusual in the industry. I recall one American CEO, one of the car companies, saying that Nissan may as well take the $4 billion that it's spent and sink it into the Pacific for all that it's worth. You fast forward 15 years and it looks like a pretty stupid comment, but back then we were definitely fringe, and nobody really thought it would work. And I have to say that in commentating on it, I would even say that at that time, there were some reputational risks in getting behind it because it was so unusual. Fortunately, Tesla came along. Tesla, being dedicated to EV and EV only, had a much purer story than we did. We outsold Tesla for many years, but they've been dedicated to their mission. Nissan somewhere checked out somewhere along the way, and Tesla, for all of its good and bad bits, has really changed the automotive landscape. And I don't think there's anybody in the industry that doesn't now accept that a significant part of the future of automotive is electric.